Emptiness flavor number 3 states Zuk dan zuk zingitsema zejengitonwa. That means the fact that a visible object and the valid perception which grasps the visible object are empty of any separate substance. During a sensory perception, the consciousness is intermixed with the sense object such that the two are never found independent of one another enough to assert them as distinct. When one looks at an object like my coffee thermos, one is always using their consciousness to observe the thermos. It's not possible to detect the thermos without consciousness being a constant factor, more so than the changing characteristic and parts of the coffee thermos. In Buddhist language, it's not true that the observer and the observed object come from a separate karmic seed. Rather, they arise from the same causal event. This proves that there are no accidents in life experience. When observing the coffee thermos, one's own consciousness created the causes for the thermos to be in the room or on the table with them, and their own consciousness, mine, created the causes to be here at this table at the same time too. Now, contemplate this statement. Consider the color blue. It is not something which is separate from consciousness because it is invariably found intermixed with consciousness. This is another way of stating that two things are brought together by one pattern of attraction. Whenever we move a magnet over iron filings, we see an attractor pattern. However, if that same magnet is moved over wood chips, there's no interaction. Likewise, the iron filings, separate from the interaction of the magnet, demonstrate no movement toward any other object. The attractor pattern is complete with both objects being present. Everyone who interacts with someone else creates and is brought together by patterns of attraction. In the situation where someone enters the room and yells at you, the patterns of attraction that created that experience were planted long before the situation arose. Planting the correct patterns of attraction with others is the only way to ensure that all future experiences will be pleasant. These patterns only last as long as the intensity of the vibrational energies that created them sustain. A creator God would know this, since he would have been responsible for these attractor patterns and these causal chains in the first place. And since the character Yahweh demonstrates total ignorance to this ubiquitous principle, he must be a poorly imagined invention of a primitive human mind.